Welcome to Living Abundantly with Sarah V. I am so grateful to be here with you today. At Living Abundantly, we believe true manifestation begins within. That's why each inspiring guest shares their powerful story and remarkable vision. If they can do it, so can you. I am your host, Sarah V., an international 3-time best-selling author and lifestyle design expert, and I am on a personal abundance mission through all of life's ups and even the downs. I am so thrilled to welcome our first very special guest. Mariel Hemingway is an award-winning actress and passionate podcast host. Off screen, she's a wellness advocate, sharing her journey towards balance and mental health through her incredible podcast, Out Comes the Sun. I'm kind of starstruck here. Welcome to Living Abundantly, Mariel.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's just such an honor to have you here. And in all areas of life, you clearly focus on, your personal wellness.
Absolutely. I mean, I believe that physical wellness really is the pathway to our mental health, right? And they go hand in hand. Like when your body is not separate from your head, and your head is not separate from your body, and these relationships, I mean, our gut biome speaks to our brain. All of these things are interconnected, and so our physical well-being is so much a part of our mental balance, our well-being, our mindfulness, all of it.
Yes. Well, you've kind of been driving with me in my car because I've been listening to you on your podcast and I think on YouTube. So you talk a lot on both of those platforms, about community and connection. So, in your opinion, how have both helped you with your personal wellness?
Um, Well, I think having great friendships and great connections with people really help. I mean, my relationship with my partner and my husband is amazing. My relationship with my friend Melissa, who I do my podcast with is an extraordinary relationship. And I think those relationships and then your relationship to your community are a big part of keeping you balanced and healthy. I mean, I think that, we live in a world where social media has sort of taken over, and we sort of I think our generation doesn't buy into it, but so much of of the younger generation thinks that that's real connection. And of course, it's not a real connection. It's like texting is 7% connection, and the social media is maybe 10. I mean, there's no real connection there. So I think that we try to focus on how can we get people to have family dinners, be more connected, literally physically. My husband calls it the original instant message face to face.
Right. Yes. I know. Well, I'm in your generation, so I get all this. So speaking of connection, you talk a lot about the connection to nature. And again, how has that been a source of your happiness?
Nature, I think, is our greatest teacher. I grew up in a beautiful state, the state of Idaho, and nature was always the thing. My house was a little bit chaotic, and there was a lot of addiction and depression and a lot of mental health issues. And getting outside, and hiking literally a mountain, getting into cold streams, all of that helped me to just stay connected to myself, to stay present. It really was my saving grace. I believe that it is one of the greatest things you can do. I did a documentary called Earthing, which is about connecting to the earth with your bare feet, or lying on the grass in your backyard. whatever it is, but those connections, we literally are connected to nature. And when we connect our physical being to the earth, we get energy from the earth because there we are made up of electricity and the earth is made up of electricity and those electrons come into the body. And it helps you to release the inflammation that gets built up by not connecting to the earth. So it's a fascinating but important part of who we are, and I think we take it for granted. We've always been we're animals at that, like that's really who we are. So our connection to nature is important to our well-being, to our health, to our physical health. We think of our pets as having a sixth sense. They sort of know what's going on. And the reason is because they're always connected to it. We don't put rubber-soled shoes on them, right? So these connections are as simple and as profound as you can imagine them to be.
So simple. Yeah. So let's switch gears here. I want to talk about one of your books, which I absolutely love. So I want to know, personally. Well, this one is, Out Came the Sun, and knowing who your grandfather was, how did you find your inspiration rather than an expectation to write them?
Well, when you write an autobiography, but like either autobiography or self-help, which is really kind of what I focused on, it's a lot easier. At least I'm not writing fiction. I'm not trying to compete with my grandfather. Um, it's it's daunting, I feel a responsibility to that name that I don't embarrass or just bring, I don't know, just bring it down in any way. So, I've stuck with telling my story and it's my story. I don't blame anybody for anything or, it's all about how we look at the world, right? And how we can um how we can break that apart and make it make sense to yourself and others. And also, my journey with Out Came the Sun and with my podcast Out Comes the Sun is really about how can I share with people my journey as it helped me and with the things that allowed me to find that balance. My first book was called Finding My Balance, and I feel like that's something I do every day. Every day you wake up and you go, okay, what's today about?
Yes. Well, I absolutely love this book. And like I was
Oh,
saying before we came on
thank
here,
you.
I was in Mexico. This was my beach read. But oh my gosh, Mariel, thank you so much. This has been
Thank
so
you, me.
special for me. I've loved you, and I've loved this story.
Oh,
But before we wrap here, I always ask one last question, and I'm dying to know what your word is. But what would you say is one abundant word to describe your life right now?
um, gratitude. I wake up with the feeling of, oh my God, I am so fortunate. And I actually I have a gratitude journal and I write at least three things that I'm grateful for every day.
I love this. Oh my God. It was such, I can't tell you what an absolute pleasure it was, or it is, to have you on the show,
Oh,
Mariel.
thank
Thank you
you.
so
Thank you
much.
so,
I wish I could reach my hand in there and
thank you so
and
much. It's
say
such a
hello, but
pleasure
it
to meet you and do this. I'm
yeah,
I'm
good to
so
meet you as
grateful.
well. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. And we will be right back